All right, in this video we're going to look at doing headings. Headings on our web page. Now, the word head in HTML is overused in my opinion. We have a head section up here that's designated with the head tag. Down here we're going to talk about headings. And headings are like the title of an article in the newspaper, right? You have the information that's in the article, right above it there's a heading, right? So that's what we're talking about here. Later on we'll also have headers. And a header section would be like the big title across the top of the web page, like the Daily Examiner or whatever the title of the newspaper is, right? That would be the header of the newspaper, and the title of an article would be the heading. And then we also have the head section. So don't confuse these. So inside our body, which is where our displayed content goes, we can make headings. And I am going to do my first one. It's going to be an H1. Conveniently, my editor automatically put the /H1 for the end of it. And I'm just going to put the words heading size 1 in here. I'm going to save it. And if I go over here and refresh, I can see heading size 1. So headings are automatically, by default, we can change it later. We'll learn how to change these. But by default, heading size 1 is the largest heading. Remember, that's the H1 tag. Heading size 1 is the biggest. They're automatically bold and they're automatically a large font. I can't remember if it's like 2.5 times the standard font, something like that. But we can also, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it 6 times. And I'm going to go through and edit. Here we have, I'm going to replace this line with 2s, this line with 3s. This line will be 4s. Fives. And by default, there are 6 heading sizes built into HTML. So H1 through H6, I'm going to hit Control S to save it. Go to my web browser and refresh. And there you can see my different heading sizes. I have an H1, an H2, an H3, an H4, H5, and an H6. And that's what we do with headings. They're not usually quite that generic, but this does a good example of showing you the sizes that we have available to us. All right, I'm going to be building an example web page as we do this, so I am going to change my title up here. Matt Geiger's web page. And down here on my web page, I am going to have some different sections of my web page that talk about me. So I have an H1. Actually, my H1, I'm going to use that to say that's going to be the top of my page, is going to be an H1. Then I'm going to have, I think I'm just going to leave an H3 for about me, and another H3. I'm just going to delete these, type them. H3. Let's have a section about my family. And then another H3 where I will have a section about my hobbies. I can spell correctly. I will save all this. Now, one thing I want you to notice, I'm putting some extra lines in here just so you can see this. Extra white space and blanks don't do anything in HTML. So the space we do on this page is basically for us to be able to read the code easily, but extra spaces don't do anything more than one space. So about me, I put 5 spaces in there. I'll save it and refresh it. You can see it still didn't put the extra spaces. It only uses 1 space at a time. So when we lay out our page, we lay it out for our code readability, but that's not necessarily how it displays on the web page. HTML does a good job of condensing out like these extra 3 line breaks. They're gone. They're out of there. There's other ways to change your spacing that we'll talk about later. So this is going to be my web page. It's going to be having about, actually I just like about is a better heading than about me. There we go. I'm going to have an about section. I'm going to have a section about my family, an exception, and a section about my hobbies. Don't need all this extra space in my code. See, it changes nothing. I got rid of that extra space. In the next video, we'll add some content under each of these headings.